Legislative matters. 11.1 is the City of Powell River 2024 Annual Report. Deputy Corporate Office.
Thank you, Your Worship. So Council, you have the annual report attached to your package. It has been available at City Hall and online for the past 2 weeks for public comment. The only suggestion we've received at this time, as you did hear earlier, is the request to change the wording in the value that's stated as that we acknowledge that we reside on the lands of the Tla'amin people. So just for background, it's been a value of the city since 2019. So with the annual report's purpose being to report on the active values of 2024, that's what's been put in the report, and so reflects those active value statements. So with that, approval of the report is required from yourself, from council, so you may do so as it's presented or as amended if you choose to make any changes, and probably easiest if you vote on any changes you'd like to make tonight. Thank you.
Start with questions. Councillor Dout.
I don't have a question. I was going to make the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That council approves the City of Powell River 2024 Annual Report.
Seconded by Councillor Isaacson. Any further discussion? Councillor Palm.
Yes, Your Worship. I just want to clarify. It's located on the traditional territory. So, not sure where the statement that is being into the report, but there is a reference side that we reside on the land of the common report. It is in the report. According to legal, maybe that should say the traditional territory. Just to clear clarifications. My question.
To the corporate. Yep.
Through the chair, Council Palm, the statement is on page 7 of the annual report under the vision, mission, and values. Should council wish to make the change, it's certainly up to you. It's been the same value since 2019 when council determined the vision and mission and values for the city, so term prior to yourselves. So it just hasn't been changed since then. We were just reporting on what the stated values have been. Thank you.
Southcott.
Thank you, Worship. Also in the introduction, it says territories of the Tla'amin First Nation, which Tla'amin no longer refers to itself as First Nation. I believe the reference is Tla'amin Nation. The first is no longer applicable. So if we're going to make changes, then we should probably change that as well.
So Doug.
You can go through, I think, and find a whole bunch of things in our strategic plan and our priorities, et cetera, that might deserve changes. I'm going to suggest that if council wants to do those changes, we should consider them. We've adopted our vision and values previously, and excuse me. The next time that the vision and values come up for discussion, might be a good idea to talk about them all together where everybody can be prepared to do it.
Councillor Palm and then.
Yes, Your Worship. I'll just follow up my
point of order. Councillor Palm's already spoken once and Councillor Elliott hasn't spoken yet.
Sorry, Your Worship.
Councillor Elliott.
Oh, thank you. First time speaker. So I think it's it's okay to change words in the document before we adopt it, if that's what council chooses to do. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying the traditional lands of the Tla'amin people. That's what we acknowledge all the time. Councillor Southcott's quite right. It isn't quite properly worded in other places in the document either. So that, I guess, would require a separate motion from the one that's on the table at the moment. And so process-wise, we could try to amend the current motion on the floor to indicate, and we'd like to make some revisions such as, and list them. Or we could pass the motion and acknowledge that there are some things that we would like to have corrected and made consistent for all future documents. So those are like different approaches to how we could address this issue, because this actual document for vision, mission, values doesn't just exist in this report, it exists in a lot of areas. And so I don't know the best way to be consistent across all documents and make this change to more than just this document.
Councilor Meader.
Thank you. In reference to Councillor Southcott's comment, in most of the document, it just says Tla'amin Nation. It's just page 2 that references the Tla'amin First Nation. So I'd like to move that we edit the page 2 reference to just say Tla'amin Nation and not Tla'amin First Nation.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Doesn't sound like that's an amendment. Or if it is, if you could make an amended motion. I'm going to ask our deputy corporate officer for instructions how we should proceed.
Thank you, Your Worship. We can make it an amendment motion. So I'm just typing it up for you here, but it would be to approve the annual report as amended with the following edit, as you mentioned.
You have a seconder?
That is,
Okay, just a second. We have to get a seconder before we can comment on the amendment. If there's a seconder.
for discussion. So the point I wanted to make is that this is I believe, the first, the general scene. This is state's draft 2020, then draft and be altered. I would suggest that you make a motion to send this back to staff to have a second look. We can make the changes.
Okay.
I'll speak to the amendment motion. And also referencing that this actually was on the agenda 2 weeks ago, so this is not the first time it's been to the public. There's a 2-week comment period, and now it's come back to council after that 2-week comment period. I would say generally prefer to, because the introduction is not part of the corporate values, etc., and it's just a part of text, comfortable changing, taking out the word first. To be even more technical, it's the Tla'amin peoples. The Tla'amin Nation is specifically the government, not the people. But I also worry about going down a wordsmithing path here and feel like, as Councillor Doubt said, if we want to have robust discussion about changes to the way that we talk about our values, making sure that there's a public conversation around that rather than in the context of the report here today. So I'm kind of 2 minds. I feel like the nitpicky nature of this is I think probably doing a disservice with our intention of honoring Tla'amin territory in the document. And so I could, yeah, I'm of 2 minds on this topic. Thank you.
Okay, we have an amended motion. Further discussion,
We just hear the amended motion.
please. You can be patient.
Through the chair, while we're waiting for that to happen. Oh, we got it here.
Okay, there's our amended. All in favor of the. Okay. All in favor of the amended motion as stated.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. I think what you want to do is call the vote on the amendment, because we haven't approved any amendment yet.
Thank you. I added one word in there that it should not have. Thank you. The calling the vote on the amendment to the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Now, we'll go back to the amended motion, which is coming up on the screen. Everybody comfortable that they see the amended motion? All in favor of, yes, Councillor?
Oh, this addresses one aspect of the report, but it doesn't address the public's concern on one phrase that I wrote out. I'm not sure where it is and how many times it's repeated, but it's the legal issue that I'm worried about.
Well, we have a amended motion. We've got until 1 o'clock tonight to deal with additional motions. And Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the problem, I guess, is that the vision, mission, and values exist outside of this document. And we could strike vision, mission, and values from the document altogether, which doesn't attempt to change everything that we're not talking about tonight, right? So the question about the legality of the wording also
Talking about
yeah, I know.
motion
I'm talking about
that's
process.
amended in front of us.
Yes. You want to call the question on that. And Councillor Palmer has raised, as have I earlier, that there's an issue that the report cites words from our vision, mission, and values that is problematic in some ways. Changing this document would not change the vision, mission, and values where the document that this originates from. And so the only way to really address this with this document is to strike the entire vision, mission, and values from the document, because it's quoting another document which is not before us tonight.
The doubt.
Go back to where I started from is I think we should approve the City of Powell River 2024 annual report. It's amended. I don't see any sense or requirement to amend it by removing the word first, but that's fine with me. I'll vote to pass it because that's what matters. I see no evidence to suggest that a couple of words in a vision and value statement makes any legal claim to anybody for anything from the city. Doesn't change the ownership of city property, doesn't change treaty negotiations. All it does is remove a couple of words from our own document. And I think if we want to adjust the document to better reflect the detail of what we think is right, we should do that in a meeting held to do that when we talk about our vision and values next time, which could be any time. We've last 6 months or a year, we've talked about doing that 2 or 3 different times.
Okay, we have a motion which has been amended. I'm going to call all in favor of the motion on the floor. Opposed? The motion as amended passes. Thank you.
I'd like to make the motion that Councillor Elliott referred to and see where it goes. That is to eliminate the document that we previously came up with that is included in the report. Just strike it from the document, annual report. I think that's a simple way to handle this.
Just give our deputy corporate officer a moment to put that on the screen. If
Point
it's-
of order, Chair. We've already adopted the report. We just passed that motion, and so to change it, something that we've already adopted is out of order, I believe.
I'm going to ask our corporate officer to provide comment.
Thank you, Your Worship. The original motion would need to be reconsidered, so there would need to be a motion to reconsider that motion. If it's reconsidered, you would re-vote on it, and then if it's voted down, then you could make another motion, such as Councillor Palm suggested.
Am I correct that anybody who voted in favor can put that motion forward?
That's correct.
Does anybody wish to put forward the motion that we just discussed? Councillor Palm.
So I will make the motion and look for a seconder discussion.
So just for clarity, the motion to rescind, could you just state that so everybody online and here?
Your Worship, it's a motion to reconsider the previous motion, and then we just require a seconder.
Seconder? Seconded by Councillor Elliott. Councillor Almeida.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question to staff. Is there any legal requirement to include the mission and values in the report?
Through the chair, no, there isn't.
On the floor, all in favor? Opposed? The motion is defeated. Okay. Now move to 11.2.